and on the ground. All right. So we'll just start with some knees. Actually, we'll start with some breathing, move into knees, and then move into a combination. So lift that chest as best you can, sitting nice and tall, fingers pointing out, away, not back, probably not forward, a lot of stretch on the wrist there, and just breathe. Again, we're moving into a diaphragmatic breath, so as best you can, I want you to work on that diaphragmatic breathing, getting that breath deep into the rib wall, not just into your belly, down, feel the ribs widen. It's almost a hollowing sound into your breath, like kind of like a Darth Vader kind of a noise in the back of your throat. And then if you want, you can begin some head movement, whether it's turning to your right and left, or you can look up and down, whatever's more comfortable for you. And again, you're moving with your breath. You're not trying to, like I'm doing, trying to breathe with your mouth open, because ideally you wouldn't be talking. So you can do either. Find your range of motion. You might have a range of motion that, oh, that's where it kind of goes, but can you breathe a little bit more? Stay there, and then go a little further. It doesn't have to be a ton further, but that breath will take you deeper into any move if you kind of settle. Not settle like giving in, but settle like letting go. Good, and then let's just add the knees. And again, you can keep the head moving if you want. And of course, the breath going. Taking my jacket off, now it gets warm. My body tries to cool down, your body's like, hey, wait a minute. Good, drop your knees. See if you can have your head, if your head's moving in the opposite direction as your legs. Ideally, or working toward knees to as deep into this as you can. If you can get both knees to the ground, great. So, but you need to separate your feet wide enough to be able to do that. Or go slow enough to be able to accommodate for it. This is where the tenderness comes in, is on the inside of the knee when we do these kinds of things. Because you're taking that muscle that starts way up here at the hip, the longest muscle in the body, and it wraps to the inside of the knee. And from sitting, walking, all kinds of stuff, that muscle gets tight and short, or loose from sitting but weak. 2 more. And last one, each side. The other thing this muscle is a direct hormone connection, especially for women. So this can be an interesting impasse for women right here. So from here, swing those legs around. Bring your legs together. So your knees are together. And you're going to drop both hips to your right, drop both hips to your left. You can lift your outside knee up if you want and kind of sit. Or you can just keep those knees more relatively close and just drop as low as is comfortable. Or a combination. See where your body takes you. This is the kind of stuff that it's okay to play with a little bit. You're not trying to exactly mimic me. You're trying to feel what your body is doing. You may feel this up into the rib wall. Think of when we're laying on our back. One more time each side. And then we're going to come to the center. Okay, so we're going to do a knees rocking. And we're going to do it kind of for a good period of time. We're actually going to do it for about 3 minutes. You can change your hand position, your knee position, whatever you need. But we're going to continuously move into knees rocking back and forth. So go small, go big, whatever you need. Just keep the breath going. This undulating motion is so good for the diaphragms of the body. Remember, this diaphragm isn't our only diaphragm. You have a diaphragm at the pelvic floor. You have a diaphragm up at the sternum. Your head is actually a diaphragm. The arch of your foot is a diaphragm, the knees, etc. There's multiple diaphragms in the system. This just happens to be identified as the diaphragm. So, hands underneath your shoulders. You're not going to go any really further than that. Toes can be pointed or flexed. And we're going to go for 3 minutes. I want you to really focus. Go ahead and start. I want you to focus in on that smooth motion. So whether or not you do the exact same position for 3 minutes is not the important part. It's can you maintain an even movement pattern. Just like when you walk, you don't want to necessarily go faster and slower for no particular reason. You want to know why you're doing it. Maybe you're trying to get up a hill. Maybe you're coming down a hill. Close the mouth as best you can. Look, we're already in 30 seconds. And again, you can change the foot position anytime. The key is to breathe through the nose the whole time. And you can feel the organs slightly moving inside the body. Remember, your organs should move. If you don't kind of feel a pushing and pulling a slight bit in your organs, that's problematic. Not just when you shove food in your face or poop or anything like that. You should feel your organs moving at other times. You know, those butterflies in your stomach when you see your wife and they come home, or your husband dresses up really nice. You're like, woo! Not that kind of stuff. We're in at about 1.5 minutes. You can look over the shoulder. Now notice I'm not moving big. My forward and backwards position isn't particularly wide. And I'm just finding a nice even pacing. Just shifting my hands a little bit, just change the positioning on my hands. Remember, body likes different. Body likes change. Not discoordinated necessarily, but if we're always doing the same thing and we do something new, the body's like, crap, that's so cool. Thanks for doing something different. The body swears. I mean, it's built into the system, right? Crap, right? It's just built in. And at Christmas time, it becomes holy. Sorry. About 30 seconds left. I'm going to take my knees pretty wide, and I'm going to sit a little bit lower. My hands are turned out. So my inner thigh a little more stretchy. Toes curled under, getting a little bit different feel on my knees and my hips. You got about 10 seconds. And done. Good. Come all the way down. Let's come on to our back now. So you're going to lay on your back, head back, shoulders down, and we're going to go side to side now. We're going to do the same basic idea for about 3 minutes. And the reason why 3 minutes instead of 1 minute or instead of 10 is because it's not 1 minute or it's not 10. And so you can do as long as you want. You could do this for 10 minutes straight. I've done it before, just rocked for 10 minutes straight. And it's so crazy cool on the body. But also, it's for video, it's not that exciting. So bring those knees up. And your arms are almost out, not quite to a T, and definitely not over your head. And you're just going to begin with a small side-to-side movement. Now remember, you can turn your head in opposition or in the same way. You choose. So notice again, I'm not making my knees go much past 1 and 11. Because I really want to find my breath here. I really want to kind of connect into the movement of my breath first. My eye movements. Maybe just my eyes go opposite. And if you go too fast, especially with it side to side, you can make yourself a little dizzier. just by overdoing the system. The forward and back system is a little bit more efficient. It's kind of the direction, of course, that we walk. We don't walk side to side, or we shouldn't be swishing that much. See if you can make the knees go a little bit lower. Always noticing here on this one, the key will be to keep the shoulders down, not letting the shoulders ride up and not twisting the hips. You're just dropping to one side, picking up, and dropping to the other. The weird thing that happens here is you start sliding around the carpet or your mat, and you might end up in another position than you started. Hopefully you're still on your back, but if you do end up on your front, let somebody know and we'll come get you. Because it's kind of like a turtle then. Breathing. How'd you end up on your front? I don't know. Just turned over that way. 2 more. Not 2 more. I'm doing 2 more this way. Now I'm going to extend one leg out. You don't have to do this. You can continue to do knees side to side. Again, my eyes are relatively just focused on the ceiling. Not necessarily forced focused, but just enough so I'm not necessarily kind of finding focus everywhere I turn. And then I'm going to go a little bit deeper. Which means as I go deeper, I have to control the movement more. First with my breath. Don't hold the breath. Just find that space where your body can easily find the movement. Now moving to my left is a little bit easier than moving to my right. I'm shifting again. And when I mean easier, it seems like I get to the ground easier and it seems like I draw back to center. When I go to my right, my left knee wants to trail and not stay in line with my knee. So I have to kind of be a little bit more aware of it. And another thing with movement, it's not we try to force movement to happen. So if the body's not doing it, it's not wrong, it's just not the best. And we're trying to be our best each day, not just somebody else or what we think we need to be. You've got about 30 seconds left, that's about it. See if you can get those knees all the way to the ground. You've got about 5 more seconds. And then done. Go ahead and pause. If you want to stay laying there for a second, do so. I'm going to bring myself up. And then we're going to do just some crawling. So if you have a mat and you need more cushion, fold the mat in half. If you're on your carpet, my suggestion would definitely be having your shoes off, because having that toe movement is super good. And then moving that way. So we're going to move crawling side to side. You can stay on the side to side crawl. You can crawl forward and back, whatever you'd like to do. You can axis crawl, which is just turning on an axis. My suggestion if you axis crawl is that you turn one direction, pause, turn the other direction without spinning around in circles consistently. So we're going to go for about 2 minutes on this. That's it, and then we're going to be done. So we're almost done here. Hopefully your joints are feeling real nice and refreshed. Core is connecting. It's starting again in 3, 2, and go. I'm starting just with a side crawl because it's just in the position that I'm starting in. And just kind of feel the body move. You're not trying to step wide or big. You're not really going anywhere. So find a place that your body can just travel to. You want to try to line up your right hand and your left knee in movement. So you're not trying to outwalk with your hands or maneuver from your lower half of the body either. I'm going to move backwards and forwards. Remember, backwards, keep that head up. Try not to drop your head even though you're going backwards. And forward, keep your hands out in front of you. So you're pushing away. If you get your hand too far underneath you, you're going to get into a lot of wrist flexion, and that can be a little bit difficult on the wrist, thumbs, elbow, and shoulder. And then, of course, you're trying to keep your head up. This is perfect postural work. Realize that the posture is part of balance. And if our head is forward or turned off to one side, it's going to affect our balance. We're at about 1.5 minutes. We only got about 30 seconds left to go. Do what you'd like. If you want to do a axis crawl, remember you're just moving right arm, left leg together. And then turn. You can feel this work in the shoulders. Great shoulder movement. I'm going to go backwards. Just kind of going with where the body just kind of leads. And then it looks like I'm going to end sideways. We got about 5 seconds, guys. And then done. Sit back into a nice little child's pose. Knees wide, head up. Breathing, arms stretched out. Get those shoulders kind of moving open. Big deep breath, upper back rounding. And then sink. Slide those elbows in underneath you. Just rock forward and back on them just a little bit. Kind of release the underside of the shoulder. And then come up onto your hands. Bring one knee forward. Bring the other leg forward again. Let's just hold both knees. Your left elbow hooks around the outside of your left knee. Your right hand around your right leg and rotate. So you're pressing the knee into the hand and elbow. This rotation should feel really pretty nice. If you can add to it, take a big deep breath, lift the chest, and exhale further into the rotation. Inhale, look forward towards me, and then let's go to the other side. Take your left hand back, rotate. Again, hook, hold. So you're trying to hold because what you're trying to do is stabilize the pelvis. If this leg just flops around, you end up pulling against the pelvis. And this is where we get into trouble with our back, with our shoulders, and all kinds of stuff because we overuse the lumbar spine. And then forward. Just bow those knees and fold in as best you can. Notice those hips may feel nice and juicy back in there. No copyright infringements, hopefully, with that word. Good. And then bring yourself back up, guys. We are done and done today. Nice work. Nice little cardio bout, 10, 15 minutes or so, 10, 12 minutes. Then a nice good mobility set. Giving yourself the opportunity to combine things, really important. Things don't have to be challenging or difficult to be effective. They can be simple moves that the body knows how to do, and you just ride them and see how much energy you can put